but I just gotta know one thing. Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready?
Time to do some real damage.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy. Let's get this started.
Are you ready?
pressure still went off, and Shad will go down.
kills
But
the body.
hold on, yeah. Ventari's low, but now Sizer's so low though. Sizer getting the heal off. Will Ventari go down? Ventari will go down, and Shad gets himself back up into play now. Sizer's low, and he takes Sizer down. Oh my goodness.
Either 30 seconds, they're really trying to push in. They still have that one cap in their favor as well, but CM is just completely over them at this point. Let's see again.
18 seconds.
Pushing it, super throwing down the fire field here at the moment. They're trying their best to focus the Lord. 10 seconds left in the game. Lord's about 80% health. They're just really trying. 60, 40, 5 seconds. Here we go.
If they get this,
health.
it's possible. They might get this, Blue.
Oh my goodness. Are they gonna
No! Yes, they got it!
Hello ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? My name is Blue and welcome to the 25th Mistpedia 2 vs 2 Cup. I'm going to be hosting solo tonight, unfortunately, but that does not mean we're not going to be covering all of the action. We have, I believe, 14 teams signed up tonight, which means we're going to be having quite a busy cup ahead for the night for you. But once again, going over the teams that we have joining us today, Zombie Cop will be making a return once again tonight. We also have Gasm will be coming into play. We have 3 teams from the same guild playing with us tonight: GDUA, La 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 La, and GDUA/2. And then as well, we'll be seeing Cade and Zeus make another appearance this week. I believe, what is their team name? We have to check up here very quickly and see who they are. They will be playing under the name of Such Youth, of course. And we'll be seeing them play in just a little bit. Here on the stream itself, we will be covering the top part of the winner's bracket once again. So our first game that we'll be showing on stream in just a moment here will be GDUA/2 versus GGN3, Dig versus Gasm, and Overpowered People versus Such Youth. The other half of the arena is being conducted by Olrun, another one of our admins, in the lower half, and we'll be grouping up with that a little bit later on tonight. Once we get to the constellation bracket, we'll head over to that arena where we have a lot more action going on as well. But anyway, that is enough talk about the cup. Let us go into the game as we have our first match pretty much prepped and ready to go. We have GDUA/2 over here on the red team with Nessun and Sliderling, and then over here on the blue team, GGN3, who has made quite a few appearances in these 2v2 cups so far, with Tyrion Despy and Loner Arkin are going to be playing. Very quickly taking a look at the builds here, Tyrion Despy will be playing Sword Dagger 20066 Thief. Again, not too much damage coming into play with this build, but as it is a thief, you will still expect quite a bit of it, but compared to DP, it's severely less. Will start to stack up damage a little bit more as the fight goes on through Runes of Strength. He has a lot more access to things like dodges and stuff, though, because of the trait choosing here, so he's going to be a very, very hard target to take out and kill. Loner Arkin over here playing on Warrior is going to be playing Soldier's Hambo. Once again, lots of CC that Tyrion Despy can use to connect more damage, indeed, as well as more Condi pressure coming out from the longbow and things like Combustive Shot. Meanwhile, over here on the red side, we have some rather interesting builds to check out over here. Nessun, first of all, is going to be playing Condi Thief with Venoms at the moment with a Karen Amulet, Runes of the Worm, as well as Sword Pistol with a short bow here, running with the traits of 60026, taking Residual Venoms, Quick Venoms, and Potent Venom, all down the Deadly Arts line. Last but not least, we have Sliderling here playing Elementalist. We'll run with 40046. Interesting trait split, to say the least here, along with Valkyrie's Amulet and Runes of Divinity, also run with Dagger. Once again, though, we are pretty much set and ready to go, so as soon as our players are readied up, we're going to give them the signal to go now. We can begin. As a reminder, too, these are best of 3 sets, so the first team to hit 2 points moves on to the next round, and as well as this is a double elimination tournament, the losers of these rounds will not be knocked out, but will be dropped into that lower bracket where they will have a chance to redeem themselves a little bit later on tonight.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
All right, and here we go with 10 seconds to go until the gates open up. We are getting started with our first match of the night here between GDUA/2 and GGN3. Winner moves on to the round of 8 in the winner's bracket. Loser gets dropped into the lower bracket, and we'll have to fight for survival. But anyway, coming directly out of the gates here, we are starting off our point of view looking at Sliderling, red team GDUA Elementalist here. Not going to be pushing in too hard or whatsoever, actually falling back over here towards middle. We do see the blue team up on the top here too, so they will get the engagement probably in just a second. Do see them pushing in here. Red team actually handling back pretty passively at the moment here, but Sliderling dives in over there. Does get a nice connection of damage over here into Sliderling, but at the same time, Loner Arkin comes in, connects an Earthshaker, but unfortunately gets stunned in the process. That will not matter too much though, as Nessan there just absolutely melts. Sliderling will have to try and attempt to go for a res, but I don't see that happening here. He's already taken a lot of damage from the downstate. Does move away with his port, but once again there, not going to be doing much, and he's going to get knocked right out of play. Sliderling as well here going to be in some trouble, and I believe that is going to be a quick round 1 going into the favor of GGN3. Nessan, once again, they're getting absolutely destroyed at the start of that game. Didn't really have a chance. Has to be a lot more careful of that burst that came into play there from Tyrion to Spy. That was obviously the thing that managed to take it down. Blue team, though, obviously doing an excellent, stellar job of doing their job here, knocking those guys out, locking down Nessan right out of the gate before he could even cause any trouble, and then Sliderling just got knocked out there in the easy 2v1. But once again, that's going to be the end of round 1. As soon as our teams have reloaded in and are set to go for the second game, guys, we're going to get started with round 2 and see if GGN3 will dominate this set and take it into 2-0, or if GDUA will make their comeback here and tie it up at 1-1. We'll be right back in just a second as soon as we've reloaded.
Used to think I was someone special till you knew my name. Open the doors to invade my castle. Don't you feel it strange? I'm going out on a limb where the clouds start to fail. Where my heart
The match starts soon.
still big, great, and ill.
Last chance to nail down your strategy.
I could outrun a centaur.
Alright guys, and here we go now with round 2 of this opening set here.
Started.
Blue team coming out of that one looking very strong, obviously, so we'll see if we'll have a repeat of that or if the red team will be able to loop things back around. Now, no changes up in the builds here, so Nessan, unfortunately, still going to be looking very, very squishy. They are going to have to be a lot more careful of him this time, or I think we'll see a similar scenario where they lose him very, very fast. Moving over to Tyrion Despai's point of view, he's going to be the one to watch. Once again, he was the thing that ended that round in just a few seconds here. But we do see Nessan jumping in over there, does manage to get a knockback. Nessan, once again, getting absolutely locked down here, needs to get away from this play, gets his heal off once again here, putting it up to about 50% health, thankfully in stealth, so we are going to see them keeping themselves up and alive here for the start. But moving over to Sliderling's point of view, because I believe we saw a ice bow being brought out from him here too. With the combat beginning once more here, we did see Nessan re-engaging, trying to connect some more damage going over here, specifically on a Loner Arkin. Loner not looking so hot here. Lots of pistol whip damage, I think, coming out from Nessan onto him here at the moment. Not making him look so good. Endure Pain been popped by him, but after that goes down, he's going to be rocking into the downstate. Nessan will now attempt to come in for a stomp. Sliderling as well goes out here. Nessan gets his stomp interrupted, but what happened there? We saw Tyrion Despai easily connect his stomp on a Sliderling. For some reason there, Nessan just choked on the stomp to try and knock out Loner Arkin, and because of that, we are going to see the 2-0 victory here for GGN3, with Tyrion Despai and Loner Arkin moving on to the winner's bracket round of 8. As for GDUA/2, they're going to get knocked out right here and thrown into the lower bracket. They are still going to have their chance to move on in that bracket, but unfortunately we won't be seeing them again for some time. So with that said, that'll be the end of that set. Guys, we're going to be heading over to our second game between Dig and Gasm. That'll be coming up in about 1 to 2 minutes here, so stick around for more of the Mistpedia Weekly 2 vs 2 Cup coming up in just a second. Alright, sorry about that, guys. We are back now here in our second game between Dig and Gasm. Dig over here with Kranis and Little Big Truck, checking out the builds very quickly. Little Big Truck going to be running with the same build we saw our Thief in the last run ring. Not the Condi Thief, but the other one. Running with 20066 with Zerkers and Strength Runes. Again, pretty much the same thing. Not too much damage. A lot of dodge potential, though, and we'll start to stack up more and more damage as the fight goes on through those Runes of Strength. But he'll have a full support Guardian assisting him here at the moment with Soldier's Amulet as well as Runes of the Soldier with a hammer and staff build here. Moving over again, you'll see the 00266 traits using Indomitable Courage and Absolute Resolution over here in the Virtues tree. A very interesting build as well. Do note this too, running with the Signet of Judgment, which we do not see that coming into play too often, so we'll see how that plays out for these guys too. But going to be very reliant on Little Big Truck to do most, if not all, of his damage here. And again, considering it is going to be an SD Thief, not a DP Thief, that's going to be a pretty big risk, especially if their opponents are tanky, which off of a really quick first look, it does appear that may be the case. So very quickly taking a look here, McGazzy running with 00446 on Elementalist here with Dagger, Celestial Strength. This build's not too out of the ordinary. Usually we do see 00266 and the extra points going into water, but having the extra traits going into Earth, Magic, for Rock Salt isn't anything too crazy to talk about there. We'll just have that little bit of extra security in his defensiveness here, and considering that you're only going to be fighting, that's not too much to obsess over. Dat Song as well over here on Warrior. He is going to be running with 00626 Berserker's Amulet with Runes of Strength. Other than that, it's just a standard Hambo build, but as it is Zerkers, it is going to be a lot of damage very quickly if he's able to connect with hammer combos. So opponents, especially that Thief, he is going to have to be very, very careful. So we are pretty much set and ready to go for this game, guys. As soon as our players are good and ready, we do have to wait for that Thief to reconnect very fast, but as soon as he is back in, we are going to get started. Coming up with a preview of some of the other games we're going to be showing off tonight here as well in just a few seconds. After this set, of course, we'll be showing off Overpowered People taking on Such Youth. That is going to be Zeus and Kate's team, so we'll see their first appearance coming into play here tonight as soon as this set is over. Following that, we will be seeing Zombie Cock, again, previous winners of the weekly last week, if I'm remembering correctly, the double Necro composition with Nas and Zombify teaming up to do that. There is a chance they may not show up tonight, but I hope that doesn't happen because Nas had yet to log in when I was trying to contact him earlier, but hopefully we'll have them in the arena and ready to go by then. So that game is something to look forward to a little bit later as well. They'll be taking on GGN3.
The match starts soon.
A little bit later on. I'll be taking on GGN3, and that's it. Apologies, guys. Somebody is knocking at the window in my basement, so give me just a second and I'll solve that issue in a moment. But once again, they'll take on GGN3, and then we'll see the winners of not only this game, but the winners of the next game take each other on in a little bit here as well. But once again, we are getting started now with our first set, so let's take a look here as Gasm on the blue side takes on Dig on the red team. Blue team is actually going to go for a bit of buffage here before the game begins with 11 stacks of might. They are coming out of the south side. Red team will obviously get a pretty big spot on them before the game begins, but that's not going to matter too much here. Little Big Truck, once again, we're waiting for the engagement from him or the blue team in general. Unfortunately, Little Big Truck is really going to be the only one that can engage here, as he is all the damage. I don't really see much potential for damage to actually come out into play here from Kranis, as he is mainly speaking a support for these guys. But let's see how things go here. Little Big Truck getting hit a little bit by Dat Song, so got to be very, very careful of that sort of thing. Kranis as well is kind of just going to be the guy they throw all their damage onto while they are suffering to try and get a target. A Little Big Truck. But you can also see here too that they're doing a very nice job at just in general spreading the damage out onto both McGazzy and Dat Song here. The Thief, Little Big Truck, doing a phenomenal job of that, actually bringing Dat Song down to a pretty low state of health here. McGazzy forced to use some of the water attunement abilities here in order to heal him back up, but unfortunately for our Little Big Truck, does get snagged by an immobilized there, and he's going to get thrown into the down state because of that. Gazzy now coming in for a stomp. Big Truck should be able to get out of the way of that, but that's also going to stop Kranis from rezzing him temporarily here. Try to come in here. Kranis now going for a stomp on a Dat Song. Kranis' stomp goes through first though, and now Dat Song is out into play. Little Big Truck's back up. McGazzy at this low state of health. Not sure if he's going to be able to keep himself rolling, but look, Kranis is also in the down state here. Little Big Truck though with a nice clutch res off, comboing that with a wave of light there as well. They're going to get Kranis back up, and with that, the red team is going to take game one, knocking out McGazzy to end it. And now they will be up 1-0 in this set and 1 game away from moving on to the round of 8. I'm going to take a short break, guys, and as soon as our players have rejoined and are ready to go, we'll bring you game 2 in just a second. We'll be right back.
Start soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Alright guys, we're coming back to you now from round 2 of this set now between Dig and Gasm. Dig took round 1, but it was very, very close indeed. We had a stomp race decide the battle there. So with that said, going into game 2 is going to be very intense to see once again if Dig will take it in a quick 2-0 set, or if Gasm will tie things up and throw us into game 3. Once again, though, very passive opener, kind of waiting for a little Big Truck to go in. Red team, or blue team rather, does have to be a little bit careful of this as Big Truck, even though he is on SD, can still pack a bit of a punch. And at the same time, there is going to be that very, very small window where the blue team can actually just completely knock out little Big Truck in one blow if he's not paying attention. Like right there, you saw excellent damage execution going on a little Big Truck there. Really going to slow him down here now, but at the same time, a good amount of damage also going off onto McGazza here. As you can see at the moment, he is not doing too well at all. Force to pop Ether Renewal is going to get quite a bit of it off there. In fact, I think he got the full channel off, so that's going to put him in a nice spot here. Being chased pretty heavily, forced into his SR. Keep in mind, again, SR going to be going on a 60-second cooldown and will not be available to possibly save Kranis if they need to use it for that purpose here as well. But at the same time, Gazi is kind of a ticking time bomb here. He is definitely going to be going down very shortly. Nice port away from that, but Little Big Truck has another port to catch up to him there. Gets off the Ether Renewal, only brings him up to about 20% health though, so he's going to fall into the downstate. Dat Song here is very close to knocking out Little Big Truck. Thankfully, McGazzy has the guaranteed stomp interrupt there by popping off Vapor Form, but now he's very, very weak. Little Big Truck gone down. Dat Song going to attempt to go for a res. That's a risky move, and it's not going to pay off there, and we're going to see Kranis knock out McGazzy, get Little Big Truck back up into play. And with that, I believe our red team, Team Dig, is going to be taking game 2 as well. And with that, they're going to score 2-0 victory, move on to the round of 8, and throw Gasm into the lower bracket. Very, very close matches we saw. Everyone was so low there. Everyone was going to die eventually, to be completely honest there. It all came down to who had the better execution in the downstate, and unfortunately for our friends on Gasm, it was not in their favor here today. Dat Song took the risk on a res, did not have a way to interrupt Kranis there, unfortunately, teammate, and with that, it was pretty much out of luck for him as well as his teammate. But excellent play there as well by Dig. They have earned their spot now in the round of 8, and they'll be moving on. And as for Gasm, we'll hopefully see them play a little bit later on today. Our next match coming up in just a few minutes here is going to be between Overpowered People and Such Youth. So stick around for that game coming up in about 2 minutes here, guys. We'll be right back. Alright, and welcome back once again, guys, here to our next game, which once again will end up being between Overpowered People over here on the red side with Basse as well as Random Name, and then over here on the blue team with Zeus, the North American All-Star, as well as Cade here, a veteran to our 2v2 cups, representing for the team Such Youth. Checking out their comp very quickly here, Cade will be playing, I believe, his signature Dagger Pistol, Dagger Pistol Thief here at the moment, running with that Rune of the Ogre there as well, so we'll have the Rock Dog pet assisting him here today. Sigils of Air and Fire being used on the DP set, and Air and Generosity also being used over here on the Sherpo set. Zerker's Amulet, as you would expect from a Thief build, and then 26006, this Thief, or this build, pretty typical for Thieves. Lots of damage very, very quickly, but it is a lot more passive. You kind of have to wait for opportunities with this build, whereas with SD, you more just kind of go in and annoy your opponent and slowly chip away at their health pool over time. This build is very much about getting one huge combo of abilities in there and bursting them down once they're low enough. So we'll be seeing him play that along with Zeus over here, who will be taking most of the damage as well. Actually, no, hold on here. Zeus is going to play SF Fresh Air with Thief on with Cade playing DP. So with that said, these guys are going to be super duper squishy, and if Red Team is able to tank through the damage, they can easily knock these guys back out of play. But they are going to have to deal with the onslaught of damage, as both of these guys combined can easily knock out Random Name, if not Basse as well, in one single combo. So once again, for Zeus's full build, however, for those who don't know what it is, it's 06044, Scepter Focus, Fresh Air, huge amounts of burst, very quickly, but it does make him rather squishy, so we will have to be careful of that. Moving on to the red team very fast here, Random Name is going to be playing Elementalist. I don't believe he'll play Staff Felly. I think it'll be DD. Yeah, it appears as though we're no Blasting Staff trait there, so I think he's going to be running with Dagger Celestial Strength here. Fairly typical Ellie build. We've seen this build played quite a bit, so nothing too out of the ordinary here. And then Basse over here on Engineer will be running with Celestial Rifle Engie, as well the traits being 60044. Saw this build played a lot earlier on EU. Amazing amount of control comes out from this build here. You've got the Immobilized Net Shot, you've got Overcharged Shot, you've got the pool that comes into play here from Toolkit, you've also got over here on Grenade Kit, you've got Chill Grenades and more things like that to CC your opponent and keep them within range. So he will be kind of the control player here, and as well will be having Random Name dealing a lot more of that damage, bringing the support into play as well. Once again, guys, as soon as we are good to go here, we're going to give our players a signal to ready up, and as soon as they have readied up, we will get started with this best of 3 set. Waiting on a Cade to ready up here at the moment. There we
The
go.
match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
I could outrun outrun a centaur.
Alright guys, so here we go. Round 1 of this set here. Overpowered People is on the red team. Such Youth is on the blue team. I believe Such Youth will be the favorites coming into this one, but we'll see just how well Overpowered People faces off against these North American veterans here in this game. OPP is going to make the initial push over here. You can see blue team is actually going for a bit of stealth to start things off here. This will give them a bit of an edge on the engagement, but at the same time, red team is off. They use a Toss Elixir R, or Toss Elixir S, actually, to get themselves into stealth. They are now visible. Blue team can dive onto them if they want to here. Cade, you can see, along with Zeus, their stealth also now expiring, but they're going to be able to rebuff that through Cade's Black Powder here. Bosse does manage to catch onto their position, though, so they are going to be forced out of that a little bit, but still, it's not going to stop them. Random Name getting absolutely Random Name getting engaged on over there by Zeus with a big combo coming in from the SF Fresh Air. Cade as well did attempt to do the same thing, but unfortunately the combo did not really go off so well, and a very nice turnaround coming out here from the red team at the moment, specifically onto Zeus, dealing a lot of damage to him and forcing him to fall back for the timing, and just in general there, red team very, very good job with negating a lot of that damage. Now keep in mind here too, that Random Name has had to use quite a bit of cooldowns, I'm sure, to keep himself up. You can see here, Arcane Shield's been used, Lightning Flash been used, Armor of Earth, all have been used here by Random Name, so he is going to be an extremely squishy individual here when the blue team does decide to re-engage. At the same time, it could also use that as bait, as I'm sure the blue team kind of has the same mental thing in their mind here at the moment that they can easily knock Random Name out on their next engagement. And there you go, Zeus, nice combo burst comes out there from Random Name, as well as Bosse taking Zeus into the downstate, already popping his Vapor Form here though, but I think he is in stealth, but at the same time, Cade, unfortunately, will not be able to go for a direct res onto these guys here, getting heavily focused down at the moment, along with the chill and CC that he has going on him. I believe he is just going to take that death, and with that said, OPP will be taking game 1. They'll be up 1-0 against these giants in the North American scene, and they will just be one victory away from knocking Zeus and Cade into the lower bracket in round 1. We'll be right back, guys, with game 2 as soon as we've reloaded in and as soon as our players are set to go.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Alright, and once again, game 2 now of this round of 16 set between Overpowered People and Such Youth is getting started here right now. Overpowered People just took game 1. We're going to update the score for that. But once again, they are now on the path to victory if they can take a game 2. Very excellent game played there, by the way. We saw again blue team coming in there with that huge spike of damage. Specifically, Random Name did an excellent job of holding on through that, even keeping in mind again here that he is going to be still a pretty squishy target with all things considered. So very excellent job of keeping himself up through that and connecting the damage. And a nice engagement comes out here. Red team going to get a bit aggressive this time. That could be dangerous, though. At the same time, there could be a nice retaliatory strike coming in here from the blue squad, so they got to be a little bit more careful of that. See Random Name, though, coming out. Zeus falling back into the swirling winds along with Zeus here. Try to pop down a Dragon Tooth on a Random Name. But anyway, going back to what we were saying there, Random Name did a very nice job negating a lot of that damage. Not only that, but kind of using his own self as bait there, so that when the blue team re-engaged, we were able to see Bosse go for a nice lockdown on a Zeus to knock him out. Unfortunately, Cade, too, believe might have had some issues there, and with that said, was really unable to save Zeus or deal any other damage back to them, so he just ended up kind of giving up after Zeus went down. And unfortunately, that is kind of the crux of a spec like this, because of the fact that both of the players are so incredibly squishy that, again, if one gets knocked into the downstate, there's very little that the other is actually going to be able to do to save it, just because of how much damage he's going to be taking from the downstate, especially when you're up against someone like an Engie here. Now, again, we did see Zeus going down for the second time. They are trying to keep him there at the moment. Cade trying his best to get him back up into play. Cade about 40% of his health pool here. Zeus again, and like I was saying there, they just take far too much damage in the downstate far too quickly. And with that said, Zeus going to get knocked out of play. And Overpowered People. Hold on, though. Cade might try to 1v2 this one. But nope, it looks like Cade's going to get knocked out there as well. So going back to what we were saying, Overpowered People, again, with another well-played round 2, just surviving through that and retaliating as needed there onto the blue team, is going to take a 2-0 victory here in the round of 16 to knock Such Youth into the lower bracket. and move themselves on to the round of 8. Our next game as we move into the round of 8 is going to be between Zombiecock and GGN3, guys, so stick around for that one coming up in about 1 to 2 minutes as soon as we have our players in the server and ready to go. Be right back with the next game. Alrighty, folks, we are back once again here now. First off, heading into the round of 8 for this stream tonight. We're going to be having Zombiecock over here on the red side going up against GGN3, who we saw just a little while ago taking out the team GDUA/2. But very quickly going over the builds for Zombiecock, this is the first time we have seen them tonight with a double Necro in play here at the moment. I believe they are rolling with double Connie, 06404 Zombie playing a fairly typical Necro build here again with Charon Amulet and Runes of the Nightmare. We'll have 2 ways to get the random fear off onto his opponents here, not only through the Runes of Nightmare obviously, but he'll also be getting it through the Reaper's Protection here, which will be a fairly good defense against people like Tyrion Despy here as well. When the game begins, we'll probably see again the Corrupt Boon stay, but he'll probably run with Worm and I would say either Spectral Walk or Signet of Spite will probably be the other utility choices, but I'll have to wait and see that in the game itself. Nos as well, heading over to him, playing pretty much the same build. We'll expect the same exact thing from him. As a quick reminder, the blue team comp, you've got Loner on a Hambo Warrior, and then as well, Loner will be kind of locking down opponents with the hammer combos, as well as providing a little bit of extra pressure here through Combustive Shot and the Longbow in general. Tyrion Despy on the blue team obviously will be the main focus of damage on Thief here. We'll have a little bit less because he's running with SD20066 instead of 26006 or similar build like that, but again, with Loner Arc and hopefully locking down the Necromancers, that should kind of open up the window for Tyrion to go in and deal most of his damage. Things to keep in mind here is the fact that, again, the Necromancers are going to be forced to fight in a kind of singular spot here due to the fact that they lack a lot of kind of escape, and this as well is probably going to prompt Tyrion Despy to have a little bit more moving around to do here, because he is going to have to roll around the map here and look for those worms to try and take them out. Because again, without those Necros having the ability to port out through the worms, they are going to be left in combat and forced to tank so much damage because they don't really have that good of mobility. And obviously, again, being forced to fight without much mobility, it's going to lead to taking quite a bit of damage. That kind of goes hand in hand there. But with Double Necro, there should be quite a bit of extra pressure coming off, not only onto Tyrion as if he screws up there and gets hit by Connie's, but Loner as well, even though he is running with a warrior, having the Zerker stance, as well as having access to CI, Cleansing Ire over here in the defense tree. He's still going to be taking quite a bit of Condi damage if he ends up going right into the brunt of things. So they're going to have to be a little bit careful things like that as well. But anyway, guys, we are now getting started here with our first game in this set. Once again, it is going to be Zombie Cock here on the red side with... Apologies. With, once again, Zombie and Nas playing for that team. And then on the blue side over here, once again, it's GGN3 with Tyrion Despy and Loner Arkin. Now again, here we did actually see GGN3 coming out the north side. If we saw Zombie as well as Nas making an approach, a very quick approach over here through the northern edge, that could have been an excellent opportunity for the blue team to gank, just due to the fact that, again, coming out of this spawn, it is not too easy to be spotted by your opponents here. So with that said, you can kind of, especially if you have stealth, very much open up with a big surprising blow to your opponents and get a very quick opener off onto them. Give me 1 second here. But anyway, here, both of our teams are kind of just playing a game of chicken at the moment. We're waiting for one team to move on to the other. You can see that the Necros are going to be able to throw down these marks through the LOS, unfortunately. So, with that said, this is going to force the blue team to fall back a little bit. But you can tell here, once again, that the blue team does not really want to engage on them. They want to force the Necro, or they don't really want to engage on them. They want to force the Necros on them, which, again, is technically speaking an okay thing, but personally I think they would be the ones that want to dictate where the fight is happening, mainly because of having those worms in play. If they're able to knock those out early and or force them to fight very close to them, it could be at a huge advantage to them, because again, red team is not going to have their evacuations, and without that they're going to be in a very, very tough position. They have actually forced the fight rather close to where these have spawned, and that's going to be a good thing. You can see over here too that Despy once again will just be DPSing those, get down to disable them from escaping a little bit later on in this fight. In the meantime, Loner is going to have to kind of take this damage for a little bit, but now with Despy joining him, hopefully Despy can kind of scare away some of these Necromancers. Diving in at the moment, does try to connect the Fear, but I believe was blinded in the process of that, and all the while, Loner has taken huge amounts of Condi damage, so he's going to fall into the downstate there, and as well, Despy now is going to be the only player left alive, and with him being at such a low health pool, I just don't believe he's going to have too much luck surviving this one, so he should be going down very shortly. He can probably delay this game by quite a bit, but I think his demise is kind of going to be a given at this point, given the Necromancer's state of health and cooldowns. I don't think that there should be any issue with the Necros 2v1ing this matchup. So with that said, Zombie and Nas are going to be taking game one. They will be one victory away from moving on to the upper bracket semifinals. As for GGN3, they are now on the chopping block if they don't turn things around here in game two. So with that said, as soon as we are prepped and ready to go for game two, we'll be coming right back to you guys. But while we're reloading, we're going to take a short break and be right back. So join us in just a few for the continuation of this set.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Time to fight.
Alright, and after a very quick game one there in favor of Zombie and Nas, we are now headed into round two out of a possible three between them as well as GGN3 here. Starting off our point of view, looking at Zombify. We're going to see once again if they can 2-0 it or if it'll wrap things back around. Back to down to 1-1. So looking a little bit at the last match there, kind of what we ended up seeing from these guys. Blue team got a very nice engagement off, in my opinion. Very good positioning of the engagement too. Got very excellent spots to try and knock out those, to try and knock out the worms before they could use them. But unfortunately, there was besides that, there was really a complete lack of pressure from the blue team onto the red team Necros here. So with that said, they were able to freely just put their Condies specifically onto Loner Ark and knock him out, and unfortunately again they have Plague, so they were able to get those secure stomps off. Tyrion and Spy unable to interrupt that as well too. Keep in mind, he can definitely still interrupt the Plague stomps because of the fact that he has Steel, and those Steals are going to be sealing this ability and then causing a daze there, so he can still get it off. He just unfortunately has to have the Steel ready to go when those stomps try to come off. But at the same time, even if he does attempt to go for the res on a Loner Ark, and it still might have been a bad scenario, just considering that again they could have easily loaded him up with Condies and knocked him out through that avenue. But anyway, combat, it looks like it is getting started here in just a second. They do connect and pin down, blue team does, specifically over here onto Nas, but once again though, he's just going to port right back because they managed to use Spectre Walk there. They got a Fear, I believe, over here on the Tyrion the Spy, but again, or Tyjan the Spy, but that's not really going to matter too much here. He can definitely regenerate from that, but a good Spike Burst comes off here from Tyrion, gets the Fear off onto Nas as well. Excellent engagement. Nas force pop heal gets interrupted, forcing him into full DS though. As you can see though, that's going to tank a lot of damage and causing Tyjan to fall back for a little bit, but Nas still very low, tries to go for his heal, no interrupt goes onto that, but Nas will be forced to pop Plague Form a little bit early. Still going offensively with it though, moving over here towards Loner Ark, and with the 14 stacks of bleeds among other conditions, will throw him into the downstate, and Zombie as well will pop his Plague Form, knock him out of play. Tyjan will make one last attempt to try and knock out Nos, but unfortunately I believe his life will be forfeit as well in just a few moments here. So with that, once again, unfortunately, that was much better, I would say, for GGN3, but kind of, again, just kind of lacking the pressure to take those guys fully into the downstate. We did see Red Team go in for their revenge play, whittling down Loner Arkin over time, and then eventually just letting the Condies bleed him out, and again, Tyjan just not really having the ability to rise him back up is going to end this set in favor of Zombie, taking a 2-0 victory, moving them on to the semifinals and throwing GGN3 into the lower bracket. Our next game, guys, is going to be between Dig and Overpowered People, so stick around for that one. It's coming up in just a few moments. Sorry about the delay there, guys, but we are coming back to you now before their next round of 8 matchup here on stream between Dig and Overpowered People. We're just waiting for Overpowered People to join up, which they have done now. So once again, quick reminder of the comps. You've got Kranis and Little Big Truck over here on Team Dig. Little Big Truck acting as the main proponent for damage over here, running 20066 SD Thief once again. And then Kranis on his interesting Guardian build with 00266, making use of the Soldier's Amulet and Runes of Strength too. Soldier's Amulet is kind of an odd choice in itself. Usually we end up seeing Cleric's Amulet be the prime choice over here for a build such as this, but it will give him, I'm guessing, a little bit of extra damage here too, as well as just in general the bulkiness of both the health pool increase and the strength or armor increase there too, by getting the extra toughness. Other than that though, it rolls with Double Shout, Signet of Judgment, which is kind of another interesting thing with this build, again, mainly kind of to support Little Big Truck here, as well as, again, if he gets engaged on with for some big burst, he can pop that off very quickly as well. And then obviously Renewed Focus. Over here on the blue team, meanwhile, you've got Random Name running with DD Celieli, with Runes of Strength obviously coming into play there, and then Basse again running his Control NG 60044 with Rifle, Celestial, and Holrick runes.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Alright guys, and we are going into the first game now of this set.
I feel good.
First team to 2 points moves on to the semifinals. Loser gets dropped into the lower bracket once again. So with the gates opening up, let's begin.
Let's get this started.
Some interesting things to note here too is I think that based on when we saw last time too, Kranis and Little Big Truck there did a very nice job of kind of diving in, but I think they're going to have to be a little bit more careful this time with Basse coming into play, because there is going to be a lot more control exercised by Basse, especially on a Little Big Truck if he's not paying attention. Good dodges by Little Big Truck here though, does manage to get out of the way of the overcharge shot, one of the prime things that he does want to make sure he ends up dodging. Keep in mind too that overcharge shot actually CCs Basse for a small amount of time too, so if he manages to screw that up, his opponent is going to get a few seconds where he's on the ground and unable to retaliate. But overall here, Basse handling the situation quite well. Kranis sticking very, very close to Little Big Truck here, and again another attempt at an overcharge shot ends up failing there as Little Big Truck had stability. This is going to bring him down to a fairly low state of health, as Little Big Truck also is regenerating here at the moment, while Basse continues to get lower and lower in his health pool. I won't be surprised if we see a crate in just a second, and there you have it. Crate comes down, gets the immobilized luckily onto Little Big Truck, but once again he'll start moving away from that as well. And all the while this is happening, you have Random Name kind of going for some damage, trying to scout out Little Big Truck and deny him of any opportunities, and Basse too will also be going for some damage over here on the Kranis. Now unfortunately Basse ended up getting Pokeballs, so that's going to slow him down as well. There is going to be another line of warding coming into play, but with Kranis getting pulled in here, Little Big Truck is going to attempt to go for another burst spike, but once again there falls right into his trap. Basse gets the overcharge shut off and connects the top here, and as well moves away on the second attempt, but at the same time blue team not really too focused on eliminating this body considering how low Kranis is. They'll just take the safe route, knock him out of play, and they'll have no trouble doing that. They'll take out Kranis first, and the Little Big Truck will just fall down to extra cleave. So with that, OPP, Overpowered People, is going to be taking game 1, putting them one more game away from moving on to the semifinals and knocking Dig into the lower bracket. Game 2 is coming up in just a sec, guys. Stick around.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
And we're back. Game 2 is coming up in just a sec here, guys. Once again, talking a little bit about the last game there. Once again, what we ended up seeing in play there. Blue team just exercising very good control, specifically over Little Big Truck there, too. You can even see that we kind of had those two separate fights. Now, I do think Basse has to manage a little bit more in this fight, as he is going to be the prime target, in my opinion. Again, it's a lot of CC for Little Big Truck to deal with if he decides to end up focusing Random Name instead of Basse. So I think it's better for him to put his attention on him so he can be more aware of kind of the abilities Boss is trying to pop off onto him, and as well giving him more opportunities to actually lock down Boss and prevent those CCs from going out in the first place. Just seems to be, generally speaking, a better choice of a focus target. So with that said, Boss does have to manage a little bit more here. He has to be careful of both Kranis as well as Little Big Truck going for the DPS on him. As for Random Name, he's really only got to focus on one thing. A, trying to keep Little Big Truck away from Boss, and B, keeping Boss up and alive. And so far, he's done a phenomenal job of that. You can see it once again here. Good lockdown comes out from the members of the blue team, manages to CC Little Big Truck here, as well as Kranis. But once again, they are going to move away from that, or at least Kranis is going to try to. Big range pull comes out then once again from Bosse. At the same time, Little Big Truck popping off over here. We'll have Bassi Venom ready in just a second, but not even going to get a chance to pop that. I don't know what happened there, but for whatever reason, just completely froze when we ended up seeing him there going for a little bit of DPS, or trying to save his own teammate. And with that said, round 2 as well is going to end rather quickly in the favor of Overpowered People, so they will be taking this set in a 2-0 victory. They are going to throw the red team, Team Dig, into the lower bracket, and they will move themselves on to the semifinal, where they will end up taking on Zombie Cock. And that game itself is coming up in about 2 minutes here, guys. We're just going to have the teams join up, and then we will get started once again with our semifinal. We'll be showing on stream between Zombie Cock and Overpowered People. Be right back, guys, with the next game. Alright guys, this is the semifinal we're going to show on stream. To update you guys very quickly on how things have been going in the other bracket, however, once again, we ended up seeing for the semifinal happening in the other arena, Royal Paninis take on Lol Run, and Royal Paninis took that victory in a 2-0, which means after this game, the winner of this one will end up taking on Royal Paninis for that Winners Bracket Grand Final. Keep in mind again that the Winners Bracket Grand Final is not actually the Grand Final of the tournament. That is just the game to decide who will be going on to the Grand Finals with the 1-game advantage, as well as who will be deciding, as well as who will be going down to the lower bracket final to be the winner bracket team that'll play there. Once again, however, this next matchup that'll be happening here in just a second is going to be between Zombie Cock and Overpowered People. Zombie Cock again running with the double Necro composition over here. I believe running with the same builds as last time too. 06404 on both Necromancers here. Pretty much the same exact build. And then over on the blue team, they're actually changing up their builds a little bit. Specifically over here, Change himself running with, what is this? 66020 Mantra Mesmer, if I'm looking at this correctly, with Zerkers and Runes of Strength. Great Sword Pistol. Not sure how well this will end up working. Obviously, again, you do have the dazes that'll come into play, and that should work fairly well versus these Necros. Locking them down is something that you want to be doing, but again, my experience with Mesmers is minimal at best, so I'm not going to be too good to comment on a build such as this. Random Name, of course, I believe will be sticking with the same exact build as before, and that is indeed the case. So again, that's going to be the classic Deity Celestial Strength Runes of Elementalist. We'll be stacking up damage as the fight goes on through the usage of the Runes of Strength here, getting those might stacks rolling, and as well we'll have a decent amount of support to provide too due to the boosted healing effects of the Celestial Amulet. But once again, guys, this is a best of 3 set, so as soon as our teams are prepped and ready, we shall begin.
The match starts
Which will be right now.
Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Alright, and here we go. 5 seconds until the gates open up. Game 1 between Overpowered People will be spawning on the blue team, as well as Zombie Cock spawning on the red team.
Started.
It's getting started right now. Coming out of the gates here now, can see it looks like our blue team is going to be hanging back here for a second, and this, generally speaking, seems to be the normal when they go up against this double Necromancer composition. Nos will loop around, and we might see again a similar play to what we saw versus the last team that Zombie Cock ended up playing against there. They might kind of pop their Spectral Walk to kind of bait, make them use a little bit of their damage, and then have the player that pops that immediately fall back here. You're also going to be throwing down the little bit of a troll mark here once again, just to kind of force them to waste a dodge or something onto that. That's not going to matter too much though. And we're again in that very passive phase of this fight, waiting for everybody to engage onto one another. Red team kind of wants to control where this fight is. So with that said, you would actually think that they would be the ones playing more aggressively, pushing into the enemy territory so that if things do go awry, they are rather far away from where their flesh worms are placed. But at the moment, it seems they're sticking pretty close to their ground here. They did manage to connect a nice mark over there onto both of those. That was Nos, the one that got that off specifically. This may force combat. Regardless, you do have clones actively damaging them now at the moment too, so they are thrown in a little bit. And you can see the clones actually doing quite a bit of damage over here to Nos. Took out about 10% of his health pool, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects that when they actually engage onto each other. But again, as we expect, both the Necros kind of just camping back here, waiting for their opponents to move in onto them. And I think that the Necros are getting a bit impatient, however. Again, just throwing down marks, still trying to bait a little bit here. No commitment to the fight just as of yet. Do see a random fear going off on a change though. Once again, I believe that would have been Nightmare Ruins probably causing that. But it's actually a kind of good thing here for at least for OPP that managed to go on cooldown then, and not actually in the middle of the fight. As obviously again getting feared mid-fight over just when you're just randomly poking away at your opponent is going to be a much more optimal situation. We did see another fear going on to him then, and this is again we have the full engagement coming into play. Zombify, however, might have gone in a bit too deep, and as well a port coming out there from the worm doesn't take him as far as he would have wished here, so he's still going to have a lot of pressure coming on him from Random Name, but at the same time I think gathers enough distance to the point where he can kind of turn around and go for some more damage onto Random Name. Keep in mind here too that both these Necros are sitting at pretty much full Death Shroud here at the moment, so they are going to be able to tank quite a bit of burst that Change would be able to throw back onto them. Going over to Change's point of view here once again, try and see how he's hanging here at the moment. Zombify is actually still kind of dangerously low here. He has CC ready to go, has yet to pop that. I think might be waiting for him to get a couple condies on him to boost the potency of it a little bit more. He's still got 10k health. He's still got 8.4k within DS there, so once again, he can still take probably one or two more barrages of damage before he's forced to pop that healer, go into the down state. Might actually be trying to clear combat here as well, as that's a fairly likely scenario considering the passive play that usually comes out from these games. Nos once more though, getting in range of overpowered Name. We do see a bit of an early Spectral Walk pop, and Zombify is going to be popping off the CC now that, well, it looks like our blue team is finally going to commit to a full-on fight here. But once again, the Condi Spike coming off onto Random Name. You can just see the bar getting longer and longer here. Random Name needs to get away from this and cleanse this, or he's going to be a dead man very quickly. Still 4 seconds away from a Water Attunement swap, and we don't even really know if he's going to have any cleanses ready to go here. We're going to see at the moment, no swap to that just as of yet. It looks like, again, he can manage to passively get away from that, but he'll swap into that, get some more heals going. And all of this is happening. You can see Zombify within Death Shroud at the moment, taking quite a bit. Still got that 13k health pool though, and Change just trying to whittle down any of the health pool that he can. Does walk into a Condi Spike, as you can see here though. This is going to be trouble for him. Mantra still on cooldown, and both charges of it were used, so he's going to go down very quickly. But at the same time, Zombify also goes down. Stomp coming in from Random Name at the moment does get interrupted. Nos going for a Plague Stomp. Random Name has no way to interrupt that, so Change will get knocked out. Zombify now back up into play. Zombify not at the best health pool here at the moment. It actually did manage to get a CC off just as he was coming up there, as you can see now, so that might be the end of the round there. 4.2k health. Still a small opportunity, I feel, for Random Name to get it, but nope. Once again, another Condi Spike goes off on a Random Name. That'll take him out, and so Zombify and Nos will be safe here. And with that said, Zombie Cock is going to take game 1, putting them 1 victory away from a spot in the Winners Bracket Finals and knocking their opponent, Overpowered People, into the lower bracket. We'll be taking a short break here, guys, as we transition between loading screens, but as soon as we return, we bring you game 2 of this set.
2. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Alright guys, welcome back once again here to the semifinal that we're showing on stream here right now between Zombiecock and Overpowered People. Just saw Zombiecock take round 1 there. Blue team was starting to make a significant amount of progress on the Necros there, but we saw once again the second they committed to the fight, unfortunately the Necros just overwhelming them with the Condis. And without that, and with that in play, rather, wasn't much for them to clean that up, knock out both Change and Random Name. Change, unfortunately, I think really got the brunt of that there. We could see again just that one spike completely knocked him out of play because he got too deep into their territory. I think again what the blue team might be trying to do here with Change's build is slowly just kind of passively knock them out through the play of the clones there, as well as just going in for a big spike once they are low enough here. But it's a very risky strat indeed here, as again Mantra Mesmer is very much sort of an untested thing. We haven't really seen it played too often. It's a build that's, you know, like I said, very untested sort of build here, so taking a little bit of a risk in that regard, and not entirely sure if it is going to work fully. But at the same time here too, we saw Random Name doing a very nice job of diving in, but in the end of things there, after his teammate had been eliminated, there was not much we could do. So, going into this game now, we do see, first of all, Zombiecock is trolling a little bit here with these marks. As you can see, blue team trying to rotate around this map, trying to get a good position to take on their opponents, and just really unable to find that, and all the while actually running into these marks, taking these spikes of damage, as well as CC Condis too. There you're going to see again Change getting another random feeder off, thankfully again happening while not in combat, so it won't matter too much. But at the same time here, it looks like the Necros are closing in. The blue team got to be a little bit careful so as not to push themselves in a corner as well. Keep in mind, this is somewhere where, personally speaking, I don't want to see them fight. They really need to try and push onto them and force them into a spot where they can actually knock out their worms a little bit later. The red team worms, I think, are sitting, yep, right around here. So if they're able to fight either really close to that or kind of within, or actually rotate around and knock those out early too, that could be a pretty big advantage for the blue team to take versus them, as they'll once again be lacking that escape that is needed in case there is an overabundance of damage coming from OPP on the members of the red team. However, once again here, you can see that very passive style of play that we always see at the start of games versus Zombie and NASA's games, because of the fact that, again, they got to be very, very careful when playing against them. One slip up from their opponents and they'll get loaded up with Condis in just a few seconds, so they have to be extremely careful with how they engage, when they engage, how close they get to them, what abilities they use onto them, because if they screw up, like I said, the game is pretty much over, and zombies or the Necros are going to take that huge advantage over them. But once again here, you can see that Change specifically just kind of tossing in the clones here, try and do something onto these guys. Might push forward here, to be honest. This won't be a bad position for them to engage if they move in on. Regardless, they are going to actually get an open ticket to knock out these flesh worms, however. But the red team may be considering this as bait. Yep, they're going to loop right back around here, go for some more damage onto them. Change specifically did get quite a few clones active on those worms there, so I think they will still both be getting knocked out of play here. Change is going to move away from Nos, but Nos is on the hunting trail now. He's going to try to knock out Change again, forcing him into a corner. Change needs to get out of here. We might, and keep in mind this too, I actually missed this change on Change, is that he actually changed his ultimate over to Polymorph Moa. So if he's able to kind of swing around here very quickly and connect that, then he can do quite a bit. But unfortunately, oh, does get it on the Nos, but just he's going into the down state there. Random Name, however, should actually, with Nos kind of disabled here, should be able to get that res off, and yeah, he does. Unfortunately, however, this has actually caused the Moa to be used without getting any real damage follow-up onto that. They had to use it defensively, so it's really only going to prolong the inevitable here. They still need something to turn the fight around, and unfortunately, it just seems like OPP is absolutely lacking that at the moment. So with that said, Nos is going to easily knock out Change here. Random Name as well, with both of the Necros still at fairly decent health pools, and Random as well here, having used quite a bit of his cooldowns already. We are probably going to be seeing Zombiecock knock this Elementalist out in just a few seconds, and they should easily be able to take the 2-0 victory here, move themselves on to the winner bracket finals to take on the Royal Paninis, and throw Overpowered People into the lower bracket. Just waiting for a Random Name to go down, and that'll be the end of that set. And with that said, our grand winners bracket finals is coming up in just a few minutes. Zombiecock versus Royal Paninis will be coming to you in just a few minutes, guys. Stick around for more of this week's 2 vs 2 Cup here at Mistpedia. Alright guys, and welcome back to the Mistpedia Weekly 2-on-2 Cup number with Zombify and Nas over here on the red team, and Royal Paninis with Babla and Avi over here on the blue side. So, very quickly, what is at stake here, as this is the winners bracket grand finals? The winners of this will be getting guaranteed gems. Obviously, that'll be at least 800 gems with the chance to boost it up to 2,000 if they win the finals, but as well, they'll also be getting the one-game advantage in the grand finals. It'll be a best-of-5 set with the team that wins this game going into it with a 1-0 advantage at the direct start of the game. Very quickly, reminder of the compositions as well, going over the compositions for the blue team because we have not actually seen them play it today. Babla over here on Captain Meow. I believe we'll be playing SF Fresh Air with Zerker's Amulet, Runes of Strength, and 06044. Still trading it out here at the moment, but it should be ready in just a second. This is the same exact build we saw Zeus play earlier for Team Such Youth. Very squishy build, but very high potency as well. Lots of damage very, very quickly, but that squishiness is something to account for, especially versus these Necromancers as well. He will have to be extremely careful of that sort of thing. Meanwhile, we also have Aviatori playing a second Elementalist here, running with 06062. Interesting trait split here with, I think someone else heard me on stream last night, running with Rampager's Amulet, Runes of Strength, Scepter, and Focus. Oh, Rampager's Amulet. Okay, so I've talked about this before. I honestly don't think that Rampager's Amulet is like a viable amulet. I just don't think that it works at all. I've never seen a build before where it's been effective, and until I cast a tournament where it's actually used in a build that's effective, I will not take that point back. So this is the second person today that I believe that has tried to prove me wrong, so we will see if they are able to do it in this set. With that said, we are giving our teams the signal to ready up right now, so as soon as our players are good to go, we're going to get started with, once again, Zombiecock versus Royal Paninis. First team to 2 points will move on to the grand finals, and the losers will get dropped into the lower bracket finals to play off the team that makes it through that bracket. Important thing to note here too, guys, is that for anyone participating in the tournament, you should not be watching the stream, guys. Just keep that in mind. As once again, we are going to see some build wars action here. Avi running it with Diamond Skin for obvious reasons. We will see the Necros change their comps up here as well to adjust for that. Let's see, what are they changing up here? Yep, Power Necros. Power Necros from the Necro comp. Only one switches though. Nas is still going to stay on regular Condi, and that's, you know, that's a pretty educated decision. Going for 2 straight up Power Necros is it's a pretty YOLO thing to do there. It still would put you in an extremely risky position, especially again if there was like a Thief or something on the other team. With the Ellies, I don't think it would be too crazy to do that, but well, obviously we don't have to talk about that kind of hypothetical scenario here. But once again here, Nos will stay on the regular Condi build, 06404, and Zombify will play Power Necro. 6206, we'll probably see Double Well and Spectral Walk, or the other one that gives protection, as well as the Lich, obviously being used as his ultimate here. No, wait, hold on, we might see something weird. He's running with Barbarian's Amulets, so yeah, Double Well. Yeah, Spectral Armor is going to be... Oh, only one Will. Alright, so he's going to run with double Spectral abilities and Well of Suffering here too. Which, keep in mind, again, that's actually... I still personally, I think, would have preferred the second well, the one that, I don't remember the well names off the top of my head here, but the one that actually turns enemy boons into Condis, because I think that would work pretty well, because not only would it boost Nas's potency, because he's already running a Condi build, but you got to keep in mind here too, is that Ellie specifically do get quite a bit of self boon buffs that they get under themselves there, so I think that would be a pretty effective thing to use, but at the same time, this isn't really a conquest map, they're not really fighting on a singular point, so having those may not end up being the best thing in the world to use here, especially again if it ends up being a rather mobile game. But anyway, enough hypothetical theory crafting, here we go. Game getting started, and it's getting started very, very quickly here with Captain Meow being forced to pop a very early misform, to be completely honest. That was kind of a panicked misform there. Didn't really have any reason to pop that, but Zombify no inning here at the moment. And we have to note this too, Zombify did not run a Lich here, so he's not going to take the risk of having Lich. Still has the Golem, so going to be relying pretty heavily, on my opinion, in his DS damage there in order to dish out the appropriate damage to knock these guys out. And again, our red team has to work together very well versus these two Ellies, as again, with Diamond Skin in play on at least one of these guys, Nos is going to have a rough time actually getting a lot of the Condis onto one of them. At the same time, though, as we just saw there, very good play from the blue team, pretty much locking those Necros down right at the start, not letting them do anything, keeping the pressure on, took them both down very fast. And now because of that, Royal Panini is going to take game 1. And actually, no, he's not running Rampagers, so I won't be taking my point back today, as again, he has switched off the amulet to 00662 with soldiers and strength. But with that said, anyway, going back to on topic here, Royal Paninis takes game 1, which means, again, they're just one short victory away from moving on to the grand finals, getting that guaranteed gem placement and the 1-game advantage, as well as throwing Zombiecock into the LVF. Well, once again, we're going to take about a 30-second break here. As soon as our teams have reloaded and have readied up for the second game, we'll be coming back to you. Be right back, guys. And in a stunning turn of events, Nos has been hard countered off of his class. Nos, again, not wanting to deal with the diamond-skinned Ellie, is actually going to swap completely to a different class. To be completely honest, I have never seen Nos play Warrior before, so I don't know how well this is going to do. Granted, Hambo is not too hard to pick up, so it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be abysmal or anything. He should definitely do quite fine with this, but still, again, forcing him off of his main class is going to be quite a substantial change up to the composition here. Again, though, looking at the build, for anybody that's not already familiar with Zerker's Hambo, 00626 with Zerker's Amulet, Runes of Strength, as well as Hammer and Longbow. Obviously, lots of additional pressure will be put onto both of these elements, because of that he will also have the additional pressure bringing into play the Longbow here, too. Zombify, however, taking a look at his build, he's still going to be sticking with Power Necro, as far as we can see, at least. There's still the opportunity that they may change that up over the next few seconds, as they have not readied up yet, but This will very much so change up the scope of this game from what it was before, at least in the previous rounds with Zombie Cock, where it was very slow, very drawn-out games where we waited for kind of one long build-up to a big fight there, where the Necros kind of ended up just throwing all their connies on their opponents at once to a very fast-paced game, to be completely honest here. It's going to go very quickly with pretty much, I think, almost everyone in the game here on a power-based amulet here. Things are going to go much, much faster. Now, Avi has switched to a much more standard elementalist build here, 00266 with Celestial Strength once again, and then Captain Meow as well to check out what he's running. He's still going to be running SF Fresh Air, but granted that wasn't too far-fetched of a build to begin with anyway there. But overall though, very good game. Lots of pressure immediately going on to the Necros there. A lot of other teams didn't really even dare to do that sort of thing prior to this. So with that said, this immediately changing up the strategy has worked brilliantly for these double elementalists, and they immediately saw results from that, taking the advantage and forcing Nos to change class. So with that said, we are seeing the advantage being held at the moment here by Royal Paninis. If they take this next game, that means they will move on to the grand finals with the advantage. But once again here, with the different comp, we're going to see just how much better or how much worse Zombie Cock ends up playing here. As once again, I have yet to see Nos play on a warrior, so we'll be seeing the debut of that here today as well.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Alright guys, here we go once again. Is Zombie Cock over here on the red side versus Royal Paninis on the blue team. Royal Paninis is currently at their match point. If they take this game, it is all over. So let us see if they'll be able to do that, or if the change up from a Necromancer to a Warrior will make the difference needed to allow Zombie Cock to wrap this back around and tie the setup at 1-1. Once again, though, with the game getting started, we are going to see Nos, or Nos specifically, heading out into the middle here a little bit, just trying to get some poke damage off with the longbow. Not too much to be had, though. Zombie as well will kind of be sitting back there. Keep in mind, too, I want to just verify this as well. Zombie has stuck to Necro, Power Necro specifically, but is running with a Lich now, too, so going full in for the damage here. He will have to kind of wait, and keep in mind, too, as again, without this being Conquest, he's not really going to get an opportunity where he can come into a fight unnoticed. He has to wait for the prime moment in a fight when he's not being focused to actually pop off that Lich, and those opportunities, to be honest, are going to be few and far between, but he does take it here. Big Deeps immediately going on to Aviatori, panic popping the Visfor, but at the same time here, Nos also taking huge numbers. He's just gonna barely survive this. Take a look, 424 health. Avi's still up in play, but Captain Meow is also in the down state now. Nos coming in with the stab stomp, I believe, to knock him out of play, leaving only Avi alive. Nos, ooh, 424 health. Now, keep this in mind too, is if Avi, hold on though, this is a good, excellent peels coming out from Nos there too. Really good job of locking down Avi when Nos was at such a low health pool, and just able to buy Nos enough time so he can get his heal off. That in itself solidified the game. Red team should have no trouble locking itself down. Very good teamwork here from Zombie Cock, definitely earning the spot here in game 2. This game's gonna be tied at 1-1 here in just a second, and we'll be heading to a game 3, guys. Aviatori, of course, does still have the opportunity to 1v2 this one, but unfortunately, again, there, yep, we are going to see Nos wrapping things up there on Hambo, knocking him out of play. And as it seems, our red team does want to prolong this game. I think we will just push it along a little bit there. Tying the setup at 1-1 now is going to be Zombie Cock taking game 2. We're headed to game 3 in just a few seconds, guys, to see who is going to be moving on to the grand finals. Stick around for more in just a couple minutes.
Match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Feel the fury.
Let's get this started.
All right, guys, and we're coming back now here in round 3 of what is so far a rather interesting winners bracket finals. Winner of this will be moving on to the grand finals and getting the advantage spot. So there's a lot on the line here, but it's been an awesome set so far. We saw the hard counter from the double Ellies in round 1, completely locking down the Necros. In round 2, again, we saw the absolute power, literally, of Zombie Cock coming into play here, crushing the Elementalists. And now in Game 3, we're going to see how things change up. For those of you that didn't see me glancing over it there while the music was playing, both of the Ellies are now running Scepter Focus Fresh Air. Both of them. Full on 06044 with Zerkers and everything. So everyone in this game is now running a Zerkers amulet. And for anyone that knows me, you know that this is literally like my favorite thing in the world to see. But anyway, game getting started here. Zombify gets knocked down. They try to go for some damage. Has to use a stun break in order to get out of that. A nice fear follows into that though for Abby though. And I want to verify as well that Zombie has actually stuck to Power Necro. And it seems that is the case here. So once again, Char coming in here, trying to cover for Zombie at the moment as both the Ellies try to take him down. Charnos does connect a little bit of damage over here onto Meow as well. We're going to be seeing the apologies. We're going to be seeing the Wells coming down here too once again, but unfortunately just due to the wide field that these guys are fighting, it's not going to be doing too much damage here. Zombify coming in. He's very much in risky territory here at the moment. 207 health. Nice Comet interrupts the heal, takes Zombify into the downstate now. Abby going to try to come over. No attempt at a stomp just as of yet. Thankfully, once again, though, Nas had a banner ready to go, so they're going to get Zombify up with that, and following that immediately into a lich. Perfect opportunity to pop in here. Does have Diamond Flesh, or not Diamond Flesh, Obsidian Flesh up ready to go, and keep this in mind too. I think there was actually a reflection that went off on his Zombify. He hit himself with 1 or 2 of his hits, so once again, he's going to find himself in the downstate here. Charnos going to try to come in and get the manual res off, tries to interrupt it, but no, both the Ellies far too much damage, takes Zombify out of play, knocks Char into the downstate here too, and with that said, Royal Paninis is moving on to the grand finals. They're going to be getting a 1-game advantage as well as guaranteed gems for tonight. Oh, and oh my goodness. The BM in this set has been rather real. This has been a rather intense game, but once again, very deserved here by Royal Paninis. And with that said, they're moving on to the grand finals. Zombie Cock is not out of the game just yet. They're heading down to the lower bracket finals, but they're going to have their opportunity to take on another team to get revenge on this team a little bit later on. And if that doesn't end up happening, that's going to be a rather interesting finals. But we're going to take a short break, guys. We got to switch arenas and head over to join us, or to join O-Run over there in the second arena, catch up with what's happening in the lower bracket. So we'll be coming back to you in just about 2 minutes here with a continuation of the Mistpedia Weekly 2-on-2 Cup number 25. Be right back, guys.
match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy. Let's get this started.
Alright guys, welcome back once again. We're now in the lower bracket on our second arena here. We're joining you in the middle of another set here between GGN3 and Dig. Dig over here on the blue side with Tyjan the Spy and Loner Acheron, and GGN3 on the red side here with Kranis and Little Big Truck. Once again here, this is now lower brackets of both teams facing elimination if they lose this game. A quick reminder of the comps as well here, and I believe these guys, I want to say these guys faced off earlier today too, so this is kind of a rematch if I'm remembering it properly. And actually, I have to reverse myself here too, is actually, we have them on the wrong sides at the moment. GGN3 is actually over here on the blue side, Dig's on the red side, so let me correct that very quickly here. Hopefully I made that little program, so it's a lot easier to do. Hold on, no, not Dig and Dig! Ah! Sorry guys, one sec. There we go. Alright, apologies. Now they're on the right side, sorry about that. But once again here, we are in the middle of this set. As you can see, Little Big Truck getting quite a bit of focus on him at the moment, as is Tyjan the Spy. Tyjan the Spy actually going to be in quite a bit of risk here if he's not careful. Has to kind of port out of there. Thankfully gets an SR, but Little Big Truck with the snipe takes him out, just to get immobilized there too. Once again though, thankfully we do have a friendly banner coming onto the field from Lonely Acheron, so that's going to save Tyjan the Spy, get him back up. Little Big Truck as well. Tyjan the Spy now going to go in for his revenge, just as with Little Big Truck getting that snipe. Both of these thieves on SD, so again, it's a very much so a race to see who's going to make the first mistake here, and the thief that does will pay the price for it very heavily indeed. Tyjan, though, pulls out of the way of that for now. Kranis as well, going over to his point of view to kind of watch how he's doing at the moment. He's going to get his heal off in just a second, so generally speaking, he's quite alright there. Nice LW too, does manage to deny Tyjan when he goes for damage, but oh, nicely done. Manages to get the interrupt, somehow actually manages to get an interrupt off on a renewed focus there. Tyjan will also go into the downstate, however. Kranis now coming in for a stop to connect that. Thankfully has a way to port away from that, but now at the same time, Loner Acheron is now going to have to try and save his teammate, which he'll be unable to do. Tyjan gets knocked down, but Kranis with only 700 health, he'll go into the downstate here too. Loner comes in, nice SR save from Little Big Truck, calming that into a wave of light, and immediately rising back up there is going to be Little Big Truck. Excellent teamwork here from Team Dig, and they should be able to knock out Lonely Acheron here or Loner Acheron with no trouble, and allow Dig to not only take this game, but move his team on to the next round as well. So with that said, Dig's going to be safe for the time being. They are moving on to the next game. And as for GGN3, they unfortunately are going to be ending their journey right here, right now. But we thank them for playing, and hopefully we will see them be returning next week in the Mistpedia Weekly Cup number 26. We'll be right back, guys, in just a second with our next game, which I believe is going to be between Overpowered People and Such Youth. Be right back, guys.
Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Alright guys, we are back once again here now with the next game here in the lower bracket. We're drawing ever closer to the grand finals here, but we are in, I believe, our lower bracket quarterfinals, round 4 of it, which is going to end up being between, our first game at least, is Overpowered People over here on the blue team, taking on Team Such Youth on the red side. And this is another rematch, guys. This was the team, Overpowered People specifically, was the team that actually knocked Such Youth completely out of play here. So now we're going to see that rematch. Such Youth is going to get their chance for revenge. and we'll see just how well they play this. The comps, once again, is a quick reminder of those very fast. Cade over here again, still running with the DP Thief at the moment, 26006. Very high damage spike build, but is rather squishy, and again, compared to SD, does not really have anywhere near the amount of dodges you would expect to see. So with that said, Cade will be a lot squishier, but we'll see how well he plays it. This is his trademark build. Zeus at the same time also playing his trademark build. SF Fresh Air. Very similar, if not the same exact build to the two Ellie's we were seeing played in the Winners Bracket Grand Finals there too. Does actually wander into enemy territory here, and this lone net turret actually manages to catch him off there, so they're going to spike a little bit of damage on him because of that. While this was happening though, we actually saw Cade getting quite a bit of DPS going off onto Bosse. Zeus over here as well, going to be a little bit careful, forces a pop of his Mistform there as he was fairly low, but Bosse going to be getting himself into a safer spot once more here. Moving back up over here towards the top of the ledge. He's actually may reset combat, to be honest here. I think we may see a full reset from both of these guys. Zeus, however, as you can see over here, is engaged on by Random Name. Thrown into a corner here, too. Random Name actually trying to 1v2 here at the moment. Bosse, clutch pull-off on a Zeus, knocks him out once more here. And we're going to be seeing a rather early Vapor Form pop, but good Vapor Form pop nonetheless. It would have pretty much been his death if he had gotten hit by all those nades there. Random Name, though, still coming in for a stomp. Cade not having really anything. Oh, excuse me.
I feel good.
Apologies there. But once again there, with unfortunately Cade not really having the ability to resurrect up Zeus, that is going to toll the bells for game 1, and overpowered people, possibly causing a repeat of what we saw in the round of 16 earlier today, is going to be winning the first game. They're going to be up 1-0 in the set, and one victory away from moving themselves on to the lower bracket semifinal, as well as eliminating such youth from today's cup. We'll be right back, guys, with round 2 in just a couple seconds.
Hard.
The match starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy. Let's get this started.
Alright guys, getting started now with the second game in this set. Once again, it's Overpowered People taking on Such Youth.
It's on now.
Overpowered People coming off of a very strong performance there in the first game. Keep in mind a couple things here too, is the fact that Bosse, I think, is really causing some serious trouble here for the members on the red team. They've tried multiple times to knock Bosse out of play, and again, he is probably, at least in my opinion, the better target to try and focus on, just due to the fact that he is going to exercise more control over the opponents if they let him roam freely. But at the same time here, just because of the fact that if they're not ready for it, if Zeus and Cade aren't ready for an incoming burst from either of these guys, they just get killed so quickly, because they're running such a risky comp over here on Such Youth side. So squishy, unfortunately, that if they make one or two mistakes here, they're both going to get knocked out. And with Bosse having all this kind of chaos to add to the fight, through the grenade, through the knockbacks he has, through the immobilize, through the turrets, through the crate, through things like that, it's just causing so much havoc here for the red team, and they have just struggled so much with actually dealing with that in this game. That has really been a hindrance to them. Anyway, though, going into the game itself here, you can see that red team is going to be on the defensive at the start here. Specifically, we do see Zeus once again getting focused down pretty hard. Cade does get a nice spike of damage here, as we're seeing it at the moment, onto Bosse once again. It actually misses the knockback here, so Cade will take another opportunity with that to engage. That actually might have been a pretty huge mistake there, but at the same time, the Elementalist, once again, Random Name, causing quite a bit of havoc, actually manages to take Bosse into, or actually, Random Name manages to take Zeus into the downstate, while we again see Cade take Bosse into the downstate. Cade again trying to keep the corpse thief rolling, but getting hit so hard by that fire elemental, he's going to go into the downstate too. And in a very quick set, we're going to be seeing Overpowered People take a 2-0 victory. They will be moving on to the lower bracket semifinals. And as for Such Youth, they're going to get knocked out right here. Taking a short break, guys. When we do come back, it is going to be Low Run versus Team Dig. Be back in just a few seconds.
starts soon. Last chance to nail down your strategy.
Alright guys, welcome back once again to the Mistpedia Weekly 2 vs 2 Cup number 25. I am Blue and we're headed into our second and final winners bracket quarterfinal here between Low Run and Team Dig. Low Run once again having O-Run himself on the red team along with Nothing joining him today. Haven't seen Nothing play in a while, it's good to have him back. And once again we have Team Dig we've seen play quite a few times tonight. Once again having Little Big Truck and Kratos running with that very interesting sort of bunker slash bruiser guard, I would almost argue to say, is along with Little Big Truck playing on SD Thief here. But once again, the combat getting started, both Low Run and Nothing both getting thrown into a Pokeball here at the start of the game, so not going to be too good for them here. Did really open up the field here for Little Big Truck to come in for some more DPS, but we are seeing Wells being brought down here at the moment by Nothing too. And as you can see here, very interesting. I have to actually check out Nothing's build here, because again, I think he's running just, I think he's just running with standard Power Necker here at the moment, but doing a very good job. Popping a Lich, although popping the Lich at a very low state of health here, trying to go for some damage on Little Big Truck at the moment, but again, with the Lich, and oh no, manages to connect again there, another auto attack. He will come out of this so that he can come in here and make sure he gets enough corpse sleeve going onto his corpse there. Keep in mind too, he was still rather low, but again, that's going to be the end of it. Lich, one auto attack, all it took, knocks Little Big Truck out and knocks Kratos off the map there too, so that is going to be ending the game in the favor of Team Low Run, and as such, they'll be up 1-0 and just one victory away from moving on to the next game. Talking a little bit more about the compositions here once again with Little Big Truck again on the SD Thief 20066 with Runes of Strength and Zerker's Amulet. This Thief build is kind of the flavor of the month Thief build at the moment. Not too much damage, a little bit more poke than it has, punch, if you get what I mean by that. But once again, has a lot of dodges, which makes it rather hard to actually get attacks onto. The issue with it again, though, is that if you do attach those attacks, you are going to be killing it very quickly, as you will with really any Thief build. That's no different from DP, granted, but at the same time, it'll be offering a lot less damage in return for that extra dodge. Kratos at the same time over here with his somewhat interesting Guardian build. He is actually changed up to Wall of Reflection now. I believe he may have still been running with the Retail Signet in the last game there, which was working in the previous games. Unfortunately, Retail, even though to definitely still be very powerful against the Lich, is not going to be enough to stop Little Big Truck from getting one-shotted by an auto attack. So with that said, the rest of his build still runs with Soldier's Amulet, Runes of the Soldier to boost the potency of the double shouts here, and then runs with 00266 to boost the potency of his virtues here, which will be used to help out Little Big Truck as well. Meanwhile, on the red side, O-Run, I believe, is playing Hambo 00626 with Soldiers and Runes of Strength. Rather tanky individual, but lots of CC will come out from this, as well as the extra pressure. Specifically will be very good against Little Big Truck to have the combustive shot kind of wherever they end up. Power Necro, Double Dagger with Axe and Warhorn, along with Zerkers and Runes of the Pack, and traits being 62006. You guys know how Lich works. You pop it, you auto attack. If you connect your hits and don't get them reflected, then you win. But other than that, guys, we are going to get started here in just a second. So as soon as our players are ready, which they just have, we're going to be heading into the game 2 now. And if we see Low Run take the victory here as well, they will move on to the lower bracket semi. And Team Dig will be eliminated, but once again, Dig also has their opportunity to come back right here too. So let's see if they'll be able to pull it off into this game as the gates are now opening up. But coming directly out of these gates, already seeing Nothing taking the southern path. Just head right into his opponent's area. Nothing, well, a little bit risky positioning here, to be completely honest. Moving pretty far away from O-Run, but manages to get within close range there too. Also see at the moment, bringing the Wells down. Little Big Truck gonna be stuck, and that takes a little bit of damage. Also forces the rather early pop of his heal here too. To be honest, again, with the current positioning, would not be surprised if we saw a Lich pop within the next 10 seconds here. Gets knocked away though, so once again, oh, bit of an awkward position. Oh, manages to pop off the Spectral Walk there once again too. Here comes the Lich though, brings it out. Goes for some big D, specifically onto Kratos this time. But there's the Wall of Reflection. He hits himself. Fear connects. 588 health pool here. Once again, we're going to see Little Big Truck take the advantage on that. Kratos comes in with a big blow to knock him down. But at the same time, O-Run also does have his banner, so that'll save him temporarily. Keep in mind, though, that the Lich, their big play, their ace card for the red team here, has already been used. They don't have that available now. Nothing going to rely completely on his own damage, which is not going to be too good considering how close range he has to get to the Thief to do it here in order to win this game. At the same time, Kratos, and you can just see here too how evil the red team is being. They're fighting over this terrain, which is a huge pain in the butt to fight over here, but whatever works will work for them here. Nothing goes down, but O-Run has the advantage in the remaining matchup. So with that said, O-Run will knock Little Big Truck into the down state, and we've already got Kratos down over here. Nothing will get back up, and now with that said, the rest of Team Low Run should be able to easily eliminate Kratos, and with that said, they are going to be taking a 2-0 victory here in this set. very quick set once again here, eliminating Dig from the tournament and moving themselves on to the lower bracket semifinals, guys. Those semifinals are coming up in just a second. Once again, they will be between Overpowered People and Team Lowrun, so stick around for more of the Mistpedia 2v2 coming up in just a few moments.